Tremors is a horror comedy creature feature that snuck its way into theaters in 1990. Directed by Ron Underwood and starring Kevin Bacon, Tremors was a modest success when it was originally released, but has gone on to earn cult status thanks to its interesting premise and great practical effects which the film uses at the right moments. It also doesn't hurt that it's the film debut of country superstar Reba McEntire.
I'm Reba!
Yeah, so what's not to love? Any chance Tremors hasn't aged well in the past 30 years? Well, that's what we're here to find out. If you somehow don't know what Tremors is about, people try to not get eaten by underground sandworms.
Sandworms. You hate them, right? I hate them myself!
That's pretty much all you need to know going in.
They're under the damn ground.
Originally, the movie was titled Land Sharks, if that tells you anything, but the name was changed since it was too similar to a popular SNL sketch at the time. But basically, two good old boy handymen named Val and Earl, played by Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, are in Nevada and discover a dead body from someone who died of dehydration. They soon discover why. Large underground sandworms without eyes that follow noise like footsteps. These sandworms, later called graboids, are big enough to eat people, and they look suspiciously like smaller versions of the sandworms from Dune. Val and Earl meet up with other people like Walter Chang and the Gummers.
Bert, they're under the ground! They're under the ground!
You know how this movie goes. They all work together to survive and kill these underground creatures. While Tremors is definitely a B movie, it's a good one. A lot of the strength of Tremors comes from a talented cast that's clearly having a good time making this movie. Kevin Bacon will never not be entertaining, but Fred Ward actually steals some scenes from him. Plus, anything with Victor Wong immediately gets my attention due to my fondness for Big Trouble in Little China and Three Ninjas. And did I mention Reba McEntire is in this?
I'm Reba!
Overall, Tremors is a fun B-movie romp that holds up pretty well all things considered. It's got a great cast and also has Reba McEntire too, remember?
I'm Reba!
It's one of those rare B-movies that was financially successful, so of course they turned it into a franchise and drove it into the ground, no pun intended. I think it's safe to say that unless you're just a real big fan of genuinely terrible B-horror, it's probably best to skip the sequels entirely as each installment gets noticeably worse and worse. Maybe you're asking yourself, how bad can they get? Well, consider that by the time Part 6 rolled around, Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell, it starred Jamie Kennedy. I'm not saying I don't like Jamie, but he's no Kevin Bacon. Simply put, Tremors is better than a lot of the classic creature feature movies that inspired it, and it's way better than the straight-to-DVD sequels that followed it. But Tremors is still just a B-horror comedy, and while it's a fun movie, it's neither terribly scary or that funny, so I give Tremors 3 out of 5 stars. Tell me in the comments what you would rate Tremors, give the video a share for support, and like our page so you can check out next week's retro review.
I'll give you boys $5 for this.